it's likely he never saw the shark coming from below. A single devastating bite to the leg and a violent struggle were over in seconds. His final dying word was shark.
As you can see, we have the lush accommodations here aboard the USS Serengeti. Me, the chief medical officer, sleeping on a 2x4.
But the instant appearance of sharks has pumped up the mood and gives the divers a first look at these animals.
You know those shots where you go rah, 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 and they come up?
Kat has dove with great hammerheads and makos, but never outside of a cage with a great white shark. Andre has logged over 1,000 dives with white sharks in his native South Africa, but even he will need to get a feel for these Guadalupe sharks.
These things used to bite the engine and the outboards of our boats, and to stop them from doing that, we started pushing them off. And then one day I just decided to see what happens if I put my hand on the snout. The bigger the shark, the easier it is to do, because there's a big gap between his snout and his teeth.
Before free swimming with these animals, the divers will launch a cage with sliding doors, a refuge if the sharks turn aggressive.
It's one of the nicer cages. You can open it from the top when he's chasing you in.
The aluminum and Lexan plastic cage can stop a bullet, but probably not a 2,000-pound shark.
Nice.
This Lexan cage is going to be great. It's just protection for the start. And afterwards, we'll sneak out. When if the sharks are nice and relaxed, we hope we'll sneak out and nothing happens.
Andre and the crew hope by diving with these sharks, they can learn why humans are sometimes attacked and how to survive in waters as dangerous as Guadalupe.
I heard they got a lot of sharks, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. Somebody pass me the spear gun. It's lying just here on the floor, just here. I wouldn't like to swim around here like a seal on the surface. I'm pretty sure you might get taken out, especially with the amount of sharks I've seen now. They can very easily take you out.
Seconds after Andre hits the water, the sharks move in to investigate. Andre hopes not to look like prey. If he shows fear and runs, they will attack.
If I have a spear gun in my hands, that's why I have a spear gun in my hands, is to wave it in front of the eye. You don't have to touch it. With these sharks at Guadalupe, I was quite a bit afraid in the beginning to get in with them. And I've had a couple of times where I thought it was going to come at me now. And I had to fend him off with a spear gun. Is that fast? I don't like it.
Oh yeah, he's fast.
No, that big thing, how quick he can grab you. If he relaxes, it's okay, but if he's that fast...
They're getting aggressive.
Then you can dive. I'll stay in the cage. How's that?
The sharks are not only aggressive, they may work together while hunting. As one shark distracts Andre in front of the cage, a second shark sneaks up from behind.
At one point, there was a big shark coming past, and it's just the speed with which it was swimming. It was big enough to maybe take a try.
Andre's first dive has confirmed his fears. Compared to South Africa, these are not your average white sharks.
They look a little more, how shall I say, bitey, like they want to bite on you. I saw my first white shark in 1977, and lucky I saw him coming. Those teeth, that mouth when it opens, it's really scary. I'm still petrified of these things. I'm always scared of them. They can take you out in a second. In the past 20 years, I've been living in Gansbaai, South Africa, the great white shark diving capital of the world. We operate a shark cage diving business, which takes out tourists, photographers, film crews, to see the great whites really up close. It's too quick. Working with these sharks every day, we learn quite a lot about their behavior. It's like, wow, every time.
Right.
You did it quite nice that time. Well, I got two boys. One is 14, the other one's 11. That I take to the island, and I often drop them there, and they free dive and spearfish in the kelp while we go and work. And funny enough, the last time I took them was about a month ago. And they went in this open area the other day, and they bumped into a 3.5-meter white shark. And the little guy hid behind the kelp, and the guy fought and pushed it off 3 times, and it swam away. I'm quite proud of that. Come on off. It's been a dream of mine to dive with the great white sharks at Guadalupe Island. But I know the first time I'm going to be very nervous.
Vamos, seu pescado!
There he is. Yeah! Come in.
Big old mama! Mañana más tiburones. Ciao.
If by chance one of you guys gets hit by a shark out there, my hands are going to be full because basically my job is going to be putting in IVs, doing advanced life support stuff. So it's probably pretty important for you guys to know how to do some basic stuff to help me out so I can do the paramedic stuff. My name is Mike Hudson. I'm an EMT paramedic with 12 years of experience on the streets. I'm here on this boat for this expedition to provide medical support for Andre and all the divers who are in the water with the great whites. First thing that we're gonna do is direct pressure. I'm gonna direct one of you guys, whoever's on deck with me, to go to this pocket in this bag and grab out any one of these multi-trauma dressings right here. And we're gonna immediately start putting direct pressure on the wound. My big worry would be exsanguination, blood loss. And following the blood loss would be shock. And soon after shock would be end organ failure, system failure, and then finally death. The next thing you're gonna do, I'm gonna take a volunteer, come on over here for a second. Sean, you're gonna take your hand, palm of your hand, and you're actually gonna place that in the femoral artery. What that's gonna do is that's gonna tamponade the bleeding down below here and slow that down. So with the direct pressure and the pressure point, most likely, even with an amputation, we're gonna be able to control that bleeding immediately. Of course, we talked about the shock. My 12 years experience on the streets included working some of the gnarliest neighborhoods in San Diego. Back in the day of the late 80s, early 90s, sometimes on a weekend night, we get 2, 3 shootings, stabbings a night. So I'm used to dealing with trauma. 46-year-old male, unconscious, unresponsive, was just in a bar fight, was struck in the head 4 times with a baseball bat. With these sharks, you can probably expect anything from a superficial laceration all the way to a complete amputation of a limb. I have complete confidence that if somebody does get an amputated limb, we're gonna be able to control bleeding very quickly, as long as we can get them out of the water quickly. I've seen these sharks do some things totally unpredictable when you're watching them from above the boat, seeing them switch around or switch back and just rocket off or rocket towards something. I think Andre is going to be able to handle himself, but I'm also going to keep that in the back of my head. I'm going to expect the worst and hope for the best.
It's day 3, and 2 14-foot males have arrived, looking like they mean business. Still a little unnerved by the sharks they encountered on day 1, the team calls on a diver with absolutely no fear of sharks. His only fear? Termites.
Wake up. Time to go diving.
Okay, let's go.